All right, here we go. All right, you ready? We're gonna do it. All right. ABC, triangle ABC is both a blank triangle. What's the first one? Right. That, what was I trying to spell? Okay. Okay, and then it's also an isosceles. How do we know it's isosceles? So two congruent sides and two congruent angles. All right, how did we find side CB? What did we do? Perfect. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now, C squared is always the what? The hypotenuse, right? The longest side. The side from the, across from the 90 degrees. All right? So I have 2 squared plus 2 squared equals C squared. So that is 8 equals C squared. How do I get rid of the square?
What's it called? The checky thing.
The checky thing. The square root. All right, so you get the square root of 8, which is gross. What is it?
2.83.
Yeah, 2.83.
I didn't know
All right, so remember back at the beginning, we kind of did simplifying square roots. Is there a perfect square that's a factor of 8? Yes. 4 times what gets me 8? 2, right? Do we agree that the square root of 4 times 2 is the same as the square root of 8? Yeah, so I didn't change it. Now, what's the square root of 4? 2, so I take that out. And then what's the square root of 2? It's gross, right? So we keep it inside the house. Keep ugly things in the house. All right, so I already said all these things. 2.83, square root of 8, or 2 times the square root of 2. They all equal the same thing. They're all just written in different ways. Okay? All right, so let's look at the next one. So this says triangle GBA is, what is this? Congruent to triangle SIT. All right, so congruent means equal, right? So that means their corresponding sides, so DB and SI would be congruent. AB and TI would be congruent. GA would be congruent to which side over here? ST. All right, so corresponding parts are congruent. Okay, corresponding, same spot in 2 different shapes. All right? Okay, so then the same things with their angles. Angle G would be congruent to angle S. Angle B would be congruent to angle B, angle I, right? They're the same spot, and angle A would be congruent to angle T. So what was someone about to ask a question?
How did you make that square? When you touch B.
I don't actually know. Oh,
Well,
wow. All right, so let's look. So if they're congruent, what can we predict about angle GBA and angle SIT? They're congruent, right. So we can put our little congruent sign. All right, so the measure of angle I is 50 degrees. So let's put that. So if angle I is 50 degrees, what do we know about angle B? It's 50 degrees. Okay, so what type of triangle are these? Isosceles. Isosceles have 2 congruent sides and 2 congruent angles. The angles that are congruent are always across from the congruent sides. Do I know those angles? No, I do not, right? So I can label them as X. I can give them the same variable because they're congruent. Why are they congruent? What type of triangle is this? Isosceles. Okay? So, since it's isosceles, those angles are congruent, so I can give them the same variable. All right, now how would I solve for this variable?
2x minus 50 equals
2x plus 50. All right, so that's using the triangle angle sum theorem. So that's x plus 50 equals 180. All right, so x plus 50 equals 180. All right, so that's where he got that 2x from. You're like, where's that 2x? I don't see it anywhere. Okay, he was just adding those 2x's before he was just doing this step first. Okay, just knocking out that first step. All right, subtract 50 from both sides. Divide by 2, x is 65. All right, so these angles are 65 degrees. All right, so if angle G is 65 degrees, what do I know about angle S? 65 degrees. If angle A is 65 degrees, what is angle T? 65 degrees. Okay? Oh, I didn't write that, so that should say they are congruent. All right, we won't use the transitive property that much. It comes up in like 1 or 2 proofs that we do, so I want you to see it. Okay, so the transitive property says if A is less than B and B is less than C, then that would force A to be less than C. Okay? So if A is less than a number, and then that number is also less than C, then A has to be less than C. Kind of taking out that middle B. You can also do it with equal signs. So if A equals B, and then B equals C, then A equals what? C. You can just take out that middle part. Okay, that's the transitive property. Real quick. I didn't expect you to know that. I just wanted to put that on there. All right, next part. So angle E is 118. Angle R is 26. And we don't know that. So, what do we do to find this? Right, add them together and subtract from 180. So what do we get? 96? 36. I was like, that's really high. I don't think we can have that. So, let's... all right, let's see. 180 minus 118 minus 26, 36. So, did you do 180 minus 118 minus 26? You're just 2 off, so you just might have accidentally subtracted wrong. So it should have been x plus 118 plus 26 equals 180. And then if I subtract those from both sides, so if I do 118 plus 26, x plus 144 equals 180, subtract 144, I get x equals 36. All right, number 2. Find measure of angle Q, R, and S. How? They're all equal. Okay, we do know that. But remember, equilateral triangles, we always know their angles. They're always 60 degrees. Right? So how do I know this is an equilateral triangle? All the sides are congruent. How do you know that? Because of the lines. So, equilateral triangle. Okay, so equilateral triangles. Their angles are always 60 degrees. Okay? Alright, factor so I need two numbers that multiply to what? Be careful. What do we say? Negative 14. Right, it's always multiply to the last number and add to the middle number.
Did you bring the squad to that?
Yes. So factor first and then solve. All right.
7 negative 2.
Yes, 7 and negative 2. Love it. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. 7 times negative 2. Is that negative 14? Yep. Cool. 7 plus negative 2. Is that 5? Cool. All right, so then since this number is 1 in front, I can just put these in here. So x plus 7, x minus 2. All right, what's my next step? Set them equal to 0. So x plus 7 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0. Solve for x, so subtract 7, x equals negative 7. Add 2, x equals 2. Alright, I don't know, they used to call it foiling when I was in school. I don't know what they call it anymore. Rainbow smiley method, butterfly, multiply, double distribute. I don't know what they call it anymore. Okay, but you have to multiply all the things. So what I do is I take this first one and multiply everything in the other set of parentheses. So x times 2x, what do I get? 2x squared. X times 1, x. Okay, I multiplied this first one to everything over here. So now I can move on to the 3. So negative 3 times 2x, negative 6x, negative 3 times 1, negative 3. All right, can I combine anything here? Yeah, I have two like terms. So I have 2x squared, and then this makes negative 5x minus 3. That's why when we do this, it's always what adds to the multiplies to the last one. Because look, we multiplied negative 3 times 1, right? So it's always what multiplies to the last one. And look here, we added those together, combine them. So that's why it's always add to get the middle term. Okay? All right. Cool beans. So let's look at this. All right, so now you should be able to draw. Does anybody need some colors? Yeah. Who said that? I can't tell. Okay. I don't want to draw it.
I need some.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else want one? It's good to show on here. I was about to throw, I didn't want to hit her, like, you know. What? Oh, you don't need that. Oh, okay. You did catch it with one hand. A color? It's just so that you can make your stuff look, it's popping. Alright, can you come up here? Sorry. Leah, I just called you your sister's name. I'm sorry. Can you grab me the paper that we're just doing right there? Yeah. 2 of them. Thank you. Sorry I just called you your sister's name. Does that happen a lot?
Oh, Leah said that I'm coming over to spring break.
Can you fill it up? Yeah. All right. So, how do we show that sides are congruent? What do? The marks, right. So AB is congruent to DE. AC is congruent to DF. BC. Oops. We're on this one. The notes from yesterday.
We doing this again?
Why did you switch papers?
Be-
There was no warning. I thought we were on the back of the other paper.
No, that's your exit ticket. Yeah. Did you not see that teeny tiny word exit ticket? Sorry, I didn't mean to make that last mark. Don't look at that. That didn't happen. Oh my God.
Yeah, just like different shades of gray.
All right. So, y'all are goofy. All right. Angles. How do we show angles are congruent?
You put the triangle. No, I lied.
The arcs, right.
The arc.
Hij, so that is this one. KLM. Okay. IJK. LMK.
I just don't think it's cool to put letters and shapes together and try to put numbers in them.
Yeah, like, who thought math needed legend?
That's how you solve for things. Like, how much grain do I need to feed my?
I'm pretty sure some bored old man just made up math. This doesn't even make sense. Like, y'all really just made up numbers and said they added each other.
It was so that they could do taxes and trade.
Why you need this now when you got a phone?
Yeah. It's not a calculator for everything. Why
It
would
actually really is a good logic building skill. It's a good problem solving skill.
I can solve my problems in my brain.
It cannot win you a race unless it's a race to the moon.
This don't get you no
And we
money.
got people to make sure.
Why I gotta solve the problem if it's not giving me money?
I feel like the rest of them
Yeah, we gotta beat 'em.
You want me to pay for this? I'm running stuff that I didn't get paid for.
We want to be able to not depend on other countries, right?
I depend on my brain. You're really different.
I don't even depend on this country.
All right, let's look. Parallel. How do we show lines of parallel? Well, that's if we're writing. Yeah, if we're writing the notation, that is correct. But how do we show it on the figure? The arrows, the triangle. Cool. All right, so AB is congruent to CD. All right. Also, remember that BD, these two triangles share that side, so then it's congruent to itself.
Are we still gonna have a test on this next week?
I have no idea when this test is. I'm going to see how we're doing.
I'm not doing well.
I don't definitely want to do well at home. I'm gonna say that.
Dang it. Hold on. Y'all are messing me up. Shush. Shush, please. Please. You're messing up my... I know, but I'm listening to y'all and it's making me write different things. Hold on. It's in both triangles.
It's in both shares.
I know, that's why I was like, it's in both triangles.
Oh my god.
Put it.
I'm gonna break it.
Do you know the case?
I gotta
So, they
The back of it.
both. So, this is the worst sentence I've ever wrote.
See, you can't even say it.
Because. Those share side BD.
They both share sides. Girl, what?
BD is in both triangles.
That's like when you don't know the answer and you're like trying to like.
No, well, if y'all would quit. If y'all would stop. I can't focus.
Congruent BD.
Teachers with an L focus.
Fine. You just hit yourself. Bye. I'll just see ya.
Does that mean we can leave?
Bye.
Yeah.
See you later.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
tired
she wanted to
of.
leave the room.
It's time to turn up.
Why is the door top of there if it's unlocked?
This doesn't really make sense. I'm not gonna lie.
I tried to do a nice thing because y'all complained about this yesterday. Do a nice thing.
Will you please explain what that sentence meant though? I can't write that
But
down.
if y'all would stop, I'm about to just leave it, and you're just about to guess what that means. All right.
I don't.
I don't.
Only you, Vader.
All right. That side is shared in both triangles, right? Do we see how that's two triangles and they share that side? So it's congruent to itself. That will come in handy later. That's called the reflexive property. Because you look in the mirror and you flex, right?
No. I don't know who told you that. Who does that?
All right.
My brother used to walk in my room and do that.
All right. AB is perpendicular, so oh my god.
That's what you get.
I
She
bent
didn't even
it.
do anything.
She wrote too hard.
I threw it up in the air.
The stress.
Okay, it's fine. AB is perpendicular, so AB is perpendicular to CD. So that makes this 90 degrees. You're killing me, dude.
Why do you keep saying that? That doesn't make sense. This is the second time I heard you say it. It's insane.
Killing me, dude. Don't keep saying it. All right, flippity floppity, hippity hoppity.
I feel like I'm in kindergarten class.
I'm confused.
This is what kindergartners are learning, so.
Normally how my honors classes go. They're chatty.
I don't understand anything. It was like
Please
really
don't
difficult
put me in
kindergarten.
honors next year.
I don't want to be put in honors this
You can
year.
request to take yourself out.
Clearly not this
Alright,
year.
guys. We really need to. Alright, I'll just give you the test tomorrow.
Yeah.
Girl,
You
you're
won't
gonna
be here
this
tomorrow.
one.
Hey, it's gonna be online. Hey, what's our
Yeah,
best
we.
We're not getting, did not hear us, and we're not getting it right.
What is wrong with you?
Alright, Jackie, you can go have one on your own and then miss all the content. Alright,
Yeah.
so AB is perpendicular to BD.
You said miss all the content. I thought we already did this.
Bro, Martha went through it.
DE is perpendicular to BD. What do I know about angle ACB and angle ECD?
They're a triangle.
They're angles, so they are what? They're congruent because they're vertical. Yes, y'all were both right.
No, I marked on my nail.
Oh no. Oh no. You have to color the whole thing now. I'm just kidding, don't do that. Alright. Okay, AM bisects the angle. Does it say anything about the side? No, so when I cut an angle, when I bisect an angle, what do I get? Two angles. And what are they? Congruent. So AM cuts the angle in half. When you cut something in half, you get two congruent pieces. Every time you see bisect, think two congruent pieces. It can be an angle or it can be a segment. Alright? Okay, let's look at the next one. AM bisects CB. So AM bisects CB. Okay, does it say anything about being perpendicular? No. So can we assume that? No.
You said it.
Well, we can't dot it.
So, does it say anything about the angle? No. So, can I assume that it cuts that angle in half? No. It only says it bisects CB. So that's the only thing that I can assume. So, when you bisect a segment, what do you get? Two congruent segments. Awesome. How do I show they're congruent? Tick marks. What does that mean for point M? It's the midpoint. So, when bisect, that is true, AM is congruent to itself. When bisecting a line segment, you get two congruent segments. All right, I want you to write BM is congruent to MC, and C is the midpoint. I see people say that you bisect an angle at a midpoint. Angles do not have midpoints. All right? Okay, next one. I've got two things to think about. Perpendicular.
How is the C the midpoint?
M.
Why
M is a midpoint. M is a midpoint.
I already wrote it in pen.
I didn't see it. Scribble it out, sir. Scribble it out. Just put JK is M.
I just screwed up the C's.
All right. AM is a perpendicular bisector of BC. Does it say anything about an angle that's not perpendicular? No. I cannot assume that's cutting any angle in half. All right. So it's a bisector of BC. So what does that mean for BM and MC? They're congruent. What does that mean for point M? It's the midpoint. Awesome. All right, so we've got the bisector part done. Check. All right, what about perpendicular? What do I need to draw? The right angle. So you can only assume that this is 90 degrees if it has the word perpendicular before that bisector. If it does not say that, you cannot assume that. Okay, because this could be, it could bisect this line, but this angle could be 89 and this could be 91. Okay, which your eye cannot tell the difference between. All right? Okay, so this is what we went over yesterday on the slides that were the worst thing in the world. We'll never, ever, ever, ever do it again, and I'm sorry. Okay? So now you have it on here. Okay? Yes, there's still stuff on the slides that we need to go over.
But do we do those?
Yeah, so let's get out the slides.
Wait, so there's do one here and in the slide?
Oh, no, this part? No. I thought you meant like submit them. And I was like, yes, because we're still doing stuff in them. But you do not have to do these particular slides? No. Sorry, I misunderstood your question.
You know what I learned today.